my glowing little homies. It is Laura here, your gut-brain connection coach. I am excited to talk to you today about getting through the holidays because it is very different this time of year. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of wanting to get it perfect, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to dive into it and how you can support your gut health, things you do, things I'm helping clients with, all that kind of stuff. If you are new to me here, hello again, my name's Laura. I am the creator and founder of Healing to Happy, where I help ladies just like yourself that are struggling with food sensitivities, cramping, bloating, constipation, heartburn, all that kind of stuff, and have ran that rat race and have no relief. So I walk people through a different approach because after years of struggling, literally years, and eliminating 13 different food groups and doing all the ins and outs and, all the certifications that go along with that to figure it out, but like personal experience, I came up with a method that actually helps you have food freedom in that process, which is what we're going to dive into today, because you deserve to enjoy the holiday seasons, my friend, without feeling overwhelmed or isolated or like you have to miss out on all the yummy goodness. Are you ready to get in there? Just a reminder, I do have some gut roadmap calls available this week. I'm only doing a few more of those. The reason they're free is just, I know the times are hard right now and just not knowing where to go or how to get started or all that kind of stuff. So usually these are $500, but I am offering them to get free. And then if at the end of it, we seem like we're a good fit for each other, we can put up some solutions and see how that goes. But anyways, let's dive in, shall we? So holidays this year are quite different. And maybe you're feeling anxious because of the new normal that we're in, or maybe you're feeling anxious because you want to get it perfect and it's hard being around all this food that's going on, and you're at home. Like, who here feels like their gut has just like taken a turn since COVID started? It's a different approach. It's a different season that we're in. So if you feel like your health kind of took a back seat and you were a little bit wobbly and you didn't do the best you could, release that judgment, please, because we're trying to figure it out. And so as we navigate through the holiday seasons and stepping into this of how you can support your gut and make things, let me tell you like a story, actually, that might be easier, so I used to have this need to get this gut thing perfect, right? Like I said, I had eliminated 13 different food groups. And with that came isolation. With that came overwhelm. With that came depression and anxiety. And, the holidays were either a time where I really took myself out of the present moment because I was so focused on food of, I'm going to bring my food here. What am I going to do here? I was that picky eater, as well as, and then I would be so picky. I would get home, I would be looking at all the food everyone else is eating and not eating it. And then go to get home and then binge on all the healthy stuff. Like, that's not healthy either. Or I would just let myself let loose during the holidays, and I just felt like shit. Like, there was no chill button. It was just, I'm already in, and then I would go all in, and it was this, and I would out-chase it with like laxatives and what have you, which not healthy. Like, having to detox everything and outrun all this stuff is just not a healthy relationship with food, and that ultimately puts more stress on your body, which then weakens the gut lining, which slows the process of your healing. And so this is why I really encourage you to dive a little bit deeper and release these grips of holding yourself so tight, because it can get super overwhelming and isolating. And, it started to affect my relationships. It started to affect the way I navigated the world. Like, my dad and my brother would get so angry because when it's an internal battle, right? Like, do you feel that way? That you're fighting something? Because when you have an ailment, when you have an illness that's external, like if you have a cut, bruise, whatever, people can see that, right? But like, when you're dealing with something that has to do with something very personal, like you're not telling your whole family, like, I can't eat that because I'll crap my pants. Like, you don't jump to the gun and tell your family that. And even then they're like, oh, just eat it. Like, you're fine. Like, you were fine a couple weeks ago or whenever you were in this time period. And you're like, you don't get it. Like, you just don't get it. And so it's really overwhelming. It was really isolating to have my family kind of shoot that back at me, which is why I created these methods in Gut Recharge. And it's something that I dive deeper into this free mini class that I'm going to give you guys soon, that you can get on. Actually, I think I have two spots a week. But here's how it works. It's this thing called the free method. So maybe if you've been healing your gut for a while now, you've been trying the 4 R's, which is remove, replace, renoculate, repair, right? So that just doesn't work for me because one, with a background of an eating disorder, if you're removing a whole bunch of foods and all this kind of stuff, that's triggering for my mindset. And I get triggered with anxiety because I don't know what to eat, right? You feel that way too. But also, like, if you're what happened with me and what made me really pause for a moment is when I was sitting there and I was counting the foods that I couldn't eat and got sick of saying this and looking at it. And I was like, well, if I was removing these foods, wouldn't that be working? Like, shouldn't I be better by now? But I had to do these gut resets or gut detoxes every other month. Like, I'd go through 21-day cycles every other 21 days. And if that was supposed to be working, why was I stuck doing that? Why did I have to keep eliminating different things? That's because it doesn't work, right? And that was a big awakening call for me. And so what I dove into and what I started to create, I was like, there has to be another way. And that's how I dove into creating this free method, okay? And so we have FRE. And so F is foundation. So you have to get your foundations. You have to understand what's going on with your body and your gut, and not what some gut guru is telling you, not what some like pointless food sensitivity test is telling you, because those things don't work. Like, I go into that, I digress, but they just don't work. And they're silly and they're a waste of time. But getting your foundations, understanding what your eating habits are like, what it makes you feel good, what doesn't. And this is why we have the gut diary. If you do want to get that, that's like $7. If you want to get started on that part, if that's more where you just want to kind of dip your toes, you can definitely get in there. Just shoot me a message or just drop below gut diary and I'll shoot that to you, the link to get that. But that's why it's not just the foods that you're eating, because the food is not the issue, okay? Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, it's a deeper rooted issue than gluten, dairy, soy, eggs, shellfish, what have you. Like, it's deeper than that. So going into this holiday season thinking, okay, I need to eliminate all this stuff. No, like, it's just more stress on your body, and that's what's going to cause the bloat. That's what's going to cause the flare up. And even if you do eat perfectly and you eat that gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, lactose-free dish and you're stressed out, you're not going to digest it. You're going to still be bloated and have a flare up and all that kind of stuff. Like, have you ever noticed that? You're like, but I'm eating all the healthy foods. Like, I'm eating all the vegetables. Why is this still happening? Because you don't have the foundations yet, okay? And it's a different approach than just removing everything that everyone else. And then you go into nutritional deficiencies, and I digress. Next is the reprogramming. And so this is where you really do have to tune into, okay, so now I'm aware of what habits these are. Now it's the action, right? Like, you can't do better unless you know better. And when you know better, you have to do better. That's the way life works, with beyond just food. But it's the mental side of stuff. It's the mindset. It's the roadblocks. It's the common things that you come into. And we walk you through this in Gut Recharge and all this kind of stuff. And then we go into, we explore the new foods that support your anxiety and your gut health and the gut-brain connections, awesome wandering nerve that we have that controls everything about us. It's so cool. We dive into that, and then we evolve. We adapt this to our everyday life, so the holidays don't feel overwhelming, no matter if it's a pandemic or if it's a weekend or if it's a birthday party or it's just us on a Saturday. Like, what have you, whatever day it is, you have the tools, you know what to do. It's not reading labels, fearful, oh, like reading the back of it is like, what is this? Can I eat it? It's none of that. It's the freedom. It's this approach that gives you your power back. Okay, so release all these things of needing to get it perfect, right? Because I don't know about you, but like, you just want real solutions. right? Like you don't want to feel so lost in it. You don't want to feel so trapped by these food rules and this restriction and the isolation and the being the picky eater and your family looking at you and your family making comments, and like it's just not cool. And it's like that part of it sucks, but the inside game is the worst, right? Like when you feel deprived, when you feel defeated, when you're aware of how people are looking at you, but you can't say anything because they don't get it. And when you do say something, they're like, oh, just eat it, it's fine. And you're like, I can't. And so if you're ready to release those feelings, if you're ready to release the feeling like you're just surviving, and you're meant to be thriving, right? Like you're meant to be thriving, but you feel like you're just getting past and you're hardly managing it and hardly hanging it on, then I really do encourage you to jump on one of those roadmap calls with me, and we can walk through this and help you be supported. Because it's the hardest thing when everyone's telling you like you have to cut these foods out, you have to cut this out, you have to do this, right? Like it's exhausting. And what I came to know, and what I want you to come to know, is that you're bloating and your back up and you're cramping and all the gut things that you could be facing right now, whatever it is, that could actually be due from lack of nutrients. That could be due to lack of foods. I actually had a phone call with one of my clients, Katie, yesterday, and we were talking through just like, it's hard because it goes against everything you are told, right? Like you're told you have to starve out the bacteria, you're told you can't have sugar, you're told X, Y, Z. And so when I was telling her, no, like you have to eat this, do this way, whatever, she was very hesitant. It was really hard for her to implement it at first. And it takes a lot of training of the mind and pushing your boundaries. And so like at first you're convincing yourself, you're like, oh no, like I'm bloated because of that food. And then you keep pushing through because the only way out is through. And she keeps pushing through. And then we jump on her phone call. We had our goal set, right? It's an 8-week program, our 8-week goal set. This was our fourth week. And we jump out and she's like, well, everything's fine. Like, I was out with my friends and I was telling them like how I can, like, actually, who would have thought the way to heal your gut is through eating more food, right? That's so true. Like, if your body doesn't have the fuel to heal and it's in starvation mode, the last thing it needs to do is digest food or produce children. So if you're in starvation mode and you're not actually absorbing nutrients, it doesn't matter what protocol you're on. Like, it doesn't matter that you avoided Nana's cookies and your Aunt Sally's cookies and you skipped out on the gravy and was just like staring at the stuffing and wouldn't let yourself have it. And like you deprived yourself for no reason because your body's in a fight or flight and you didn't do any good, right? Like even though maybe you passed it up and like whatever, and then you get home, you binge, whatever. Maybe that's my life story. But so the ways that you get through is just by simply giving yourself grace and permission. And if you need more of a one-on-one approach to that, you need more support, you're feeling really overwhelmed and just confused by it all, and you just want to enjoy yourself because it's been a year and you just want these last 2 weeks. What we got, let's see, we got 3 weeks left in the new year, in 2020. You just want to enjoy yourself. Like, I feel you, and you can. It doesn't mean like you wait till January. It doesn't mean, oh, like I'm not going to get started because there's all these family things coming on. It's you create a roadmap that fits every pillar of your life. So that sounds like something you're interested in. Hit the link below. I will put it in the comment section actually, so you guys can get it. And book in your strategy call. I have a few spots open in my Gut Accelerator program. I only take 4 clients at a time there, but their group program, Gut Recharge, is open always for enrollment if that's more of your jam. And then things like the gut diary and stuff, those are like $7 to help get you started. Something for everyone this holiday season to help you get where you want to go. I hope this helps. If you understand you are not alone, there's nothing wrong with you, you are not broken. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and it's just taking the right steps in the right order. And I would be happy to help you kind of align with where that is. So happy healings, my friends, and I'll see you next Tuesday.